Hey guys, it's Simmy, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited. As we're here with the Smackdown review on what is this day? It is New Year's Day, January 1st, 2019. My headphones are not plugged in. There we go. All right. Let's see who's here with us in the chat. Sorry I was a little late dealing with some things. Then my OBS streaming software wouldn't open. We're good now. We've got Jonathan Powell with us. We got Robbie Rice, Anthony, Jeff Guevara, Ebenezer, Travis Ray, Mark Sanchez, Legendary Howard. What's going on, everybody? I hope you guys had a good New Year's Eve, good New Year's Day today. Just looking at the chat. Nothing really. What's up? Fix your graphics. What's wrong with the graphics? Oh, it says New Year's Eve. Yeah, I'm actually fixing that as we speak. Just looking here before we get talking on SmackDown. Yeah, SmackDown I thought was a better show than normal. Like, sometimes SmackDown's better than Raw. Well, actually, not sometimes. Sometimes Raw's better than SmackDown. Sorry about that. I was reading something in the chat that kind of took my mind away. So sometimes, Raw is better. SmackDown is always better than Raw for the most part. Ratings never really reflect that. But hey, again, this week I thought SmackDown was the better show. And as we start looking at what happened on SmackDown tonight, the show did kick off where they told us that there was going to be a fatal 5-way match tonight where the winner would then go on and challenge Daniel Bryan at the Royal Rumble for the WWE Championship. We learned that in that match will be AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio, Mustafa Ali, Randy Orton, and an opponent to be named later in the night, which was really like after the next match. It was going to be either Samoa Joe or Jeff Hardy. Give me 1 second, guys. All right. Graphic, thumbnail, fixed. Awesome. All right, so getting back to SmackDown, it was going to be either Samoa Joe or Jeff Hardy that we're gonna actually make it into this 5-way. So first off, though, the New Day came out. For a New Day celebration to start SmackDown. Big E was dressed like a baby. Xavier announced that all 3 members would be entering the Royal Rumble. Kofi noted that one of them will win the Royal Rumble for a shot at the WWE Championship. Woods noted, we can also challenge for the Universal title, but Brock Lesnar may not show up for that. Kingston was then a little angry that he hasn't missed a day in 11 years, but can't get no title shots. Is there? Royal 15 says there's 2 live streams going. I don't know why it does that. That's the second time in a row. It didn't do it yesterday, but it did it last week. That's very weird. I don't know why it did that, guys. It should be streaming the same thing, though. Anyways, Kofi's mad that he hasn't got a title shot. Woods then announced that due to doctor's orders, they're no longer allowed to throw pancakes. Regardless, Big E kept finding pancakes to eat. They're not allowed to eat and throw them. Big E then discussed the upcoming match to determine the 5th participant in the Fatal 5-Way tonight and introduced Jeff Hardy. So we got Jeff Hardy versus Samoa Joe. Joe had the early advantage and was firmly in control. Hardy fought back with a jawbreaker. Hardy rammed Joe's knee against the ring post. He attempted a figure 4, but Joe rolled to the floor. Back from a commercial, Joe regained control and slowed the pace down. Hardy went for the whisper in the wind, but Joe caught him in a tree of woe. He followed that up with a drop kick. Hardy then made a comeback and hit a twist of fate. Hardy hit the swanton, but Joe rolled to the floor. Hardy attempted a drop kick through the ropes, but Joe caught him in the Kikina clutch. Joe tried to get a count-out victory, but Hardy barely beat the 10 count by like 9.5, 9 3/4. It was very, very close. As Jeff Hardy jumped back in the ring at the last second, he was caught in the coquina clutch yet again, and this time tapped out, or actually more like passed out, really. Joe would go on to win and enter the Fatal 5-Way main event for a chance. Oh, yeah, I did. Steve Emblem said you forgot about the Steiner math. I did. Apologize that. Like I said, Joe won, and Joe will move on to the Fatal 5-Way main event. Backstage, Mr. McMahon and Shane were sitting in the, I guess, commissioner's office, the McMahon's office. I don't even know what to call it anymore. Are they GMs? Are they commissioners? Or are they just the McMahons? I'm just going to call it from now on the McMahon office. They were discussing Joe's victory. AJ then entered and teased apologizing for attacking McMahon last week, but then didn't. He threatened McMahon and Shane stood up. Styles promised, "You're going to see the real AJ Styles in tonight's main event." After he left, Shane said, "Are you sure you want to see the real Styles?" And McMahon confirmed, "Yes, I do." In the ring, Caleb Braxton interviewed the new United States champion Rusev with his wife Alana. Rusev promised to defend the title against anyone, and he will win using his power, strength, and animal magnetism. Rusev chants then started, and some of them were even cheering Rusev Day USA. Rusev Day USA. So suddenly, Nakamura would hit the ring. He attacked Rusev from behind. Lana jumped on his back, and this is weird. Lana jumps on his back, and, men aren't supposed to do anything to the women. So what does Nakamura do? Just drops down to get her off. Kind of clever, since they're not supposed to do anything. Rusev then hit a Machka kick on Nakamura. With Lana still on his back, that's when he fell to the ground. Lana landed on her back. Rusev checked on her, and Nakamura hit a Kinshasa. So next up, it was supposed to be Mandy Rose take.
You're asking about supposed to be. Want to hear something about it?
Alexa, no. Sorry about that. My Amazon Echo went off. Got a little run-in by my Echo. Anyways, so the next match was supposed to be Mandy Rose versus Naomi. Mandy Rose would come out and say she's not going to be doing this match after all, and Sonya Deville will be taking her spot instead. Deville was firmly in control and wore down Naomi. Rose continued to taunt Naomi from ringside. Naomi made a comeback, but Rose grabbed the microphone. Rose said that while she was getting ready earlier, she was thinking of Jimmy Uso. She said, "Then I decided to send this picture to him." It was a picture of herself wearing nothing more than a towel. She showed the picture on the big screen, and Naomi began to grow angry, distracted, and allowed Deville to pick up the victory after hitting a pretty wicked move on her. I don't even know how to explain it. I don't think I've seen her do it before, but it was pretty crazy. It was like she picked her up for a suplex, delayed for a second, and then flipped her back down forward. It's like something I've only seen in the freaking 2K games. So with that, backstage, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, and Mustafa Ali all gave separate interviews and promised to win tonight's main event. With that, the Iconics, Gallows and Anderson, all gave some New Year's resolutions, both saying that they wanted to be tag team champions. Of course, the Iconics wanted to be women's tag team champions. Gallows and Anderson wanting to be Smackdown Live tag team champions. Shelton Benjamin thought the resolutions were a waste of time, and he pulled down the set. He knocked it all down. Hey, at least they used him. Backstage, Samoa Joe bragged about beating Jeff Hardy earlier in the night and promised that he would be the one to win the Fatal 5-Way and move on to the Royal Rumble. Now things start to get interesting. John Cena comes down to the ring. He looked, in good spirits. He looked good. He mentioned that some man's music is going to play and interrupt him. He pointed out they'll make fun of his hair and bring up that he's a broken down part-timer. He called out someone to interrupt him. This brought out Becky Lynch. She noted that he expected a man, but instead got the man. She said in 2018, she doesn't just target Charlotte Flair, but him too. She said that she took Charlotte Flair off the posters, and she's also going to take Cena off the posters as well. She noted that she's going to take his place, And if he has a problem with that, Nikki Bella won't be the only woman to drop him. This would then lead Zelina Vega and Andrade Cien Almas to come out. She would essentially introduce them to John Cena. Vega called them old news, said the McMahon family promised new faces, and then she said 2019 will be the year of Tranquilo. John Cena would go on to say, well, hi, I'm John Cena. You're out here talking a little too big for your britches. Cena then said, how about you two take on us two? Go to commercial. When we come back, they said the McMahons made this match official. It was Becky Lynch and John Cena against Andrade Cien Almas and Zelina Vega. Lynch was firmly in control early and caught Vega with a dropkick. Vega tagged out and Lynch won at Almas. She was like, come on, I got you. I'm not going to get out of this ring. And Lynch was forced to tag Cena by the referee. Almas slowed down the pace and wore down Cena. Excuse me. He isolated Cena in the corner and distracted the referee. Vega took a chance to nail Cena with a boot. Almas missed and hit the double knees, or missed the double knees in the corner, and Cena tagged in Lynch. Lynch ran wild on Vega and backed her into the corner. Lynch hit a missile dropkick for a near fall. She went for the disarmor, but Almas broke it up. Cena hit the 5-knuckle shuffle attitude adjustment and what he's now calling the lightning fist, knocking Almas out of the ring. That's his new move of doom. Lynch then threw Cena out of the ring for some reason that we still don't really know why. As she threw Cena out of the ring, Zelina Vega tried to roll her up, and instead of rolling her up, Becky basically just rolled through it, put her in the disarmor, and Vega tapped out, giving John Cena and Becky Lynch the victory. After the match, John Cena was standing at ringside when Becky got out of the ring. He extended his arm for a handshake. Becky looked like she was going to do the handshake, did the psych move right up into the you can't see me, and walked off as the crowd went nuts as she did that. Crowd went nuts. We'll take calls after we run down Smackdown. In the back, Shane McMahon was in the middle of a meeting when The Miz interrupted. He showed a series of pictures of them as a tag team. It featured Miz and McMahon in matching gear. McMahon noted that the body Miz used was actually Goldberg's body. Miz said McMahon's body was better. McMahon told Miz to tap into his creativity and sneak out of the room. Backstage, Triple H approached Asuka. He asked Asuka who she thinks deserves a title shot at Royal Rumble. Asuka says she's willing and ready to take on anybody. She's ready for anybody, but nobody's ready for Asuka. Charlotte Flair would walk up and state that if it wasn't for Ronda Rousey, I'd be the champion coming out of TLC. Carmella walked up and says, no, I need the title shot. I was champion for 130 some odd days in 2018. And then Becky comes up and goes, all you losers are wrong because I'm the man and I should be the one getting that title shot. So there's no better obvious choice. Triple H said, you know what? I'm going to bring this to everybody's attention. We're going to talk about it and I'll get back to you with a decision. So most likely next week we'll find out who's going to face Asuka at the Royal Rumble. If you remember, it was accidentally announced that it was Becky, but that's not 100% yet. Plans may have changed for that match. So, we move on to the main event. AJ Styles versus Rey Mysterio versus Mustafa Ali versus Randy Orton versus Samoa Joe. Winner goes on to face Daniel Bryan at the Royal Rumble. Hell of a match. Loved this match. Ali attacked Joe to start the match. Joe sent Ali to the floor. Styles cleared the ring and went after Orton. Ali pulled Styles out of the ring and hit a rolling X Factor on Orton for a near fall. I think Ali, to me, looks like a star. Mustafa Ali, to me, looks like somebody that they should be pushing on SmackDown. Raw's the land of the big guys, the land of the Triple H type guys, you know what I mean? The corporate type guys. SmackDown is the land of the indie guys, and I think Mustafa Ali just has that perfect look for the quote-unquote indie guys in the WWE. Anyways, Styles and Mysterio squared off. Mysterio sent Styles to the floor and attempted a dive. However, As he attempted that dive, Orton caught him in a power slam. Go to commercial, and when we come back, Orton stomped away on Styles. Styles made a comeback and sent Orton and Mysterio to the floor. Styles set up the phenomenal forearm on Ali, but Joe knocked Styles off the apron. Orton would then slam Styles on the apron. Joe then followed this up by slamming Styles to the announce table, and Corey Graves goes, "Oh my God, AJ's been knocked out. He's done for the rest of the match." Ali then took Joe out with a dive, and Mysterio took out Orton with a dive off the apron. Mustafa Ali and Rey Mysterio then had an exchange in the ring. Ali and Mysterio fought on the top turnbuckle. Mysterio shoved him off, but Ali landed on his feet when he was shoved off the top rope, but instead of just falling off the top rope, he did a backflip off the top rope, ran right back up there, and hit a nice-looking Spanish fly. Joe then broke up a pin attempt. Ali fought back and caught Joe with a satellite DDT. Ali then missed an 054 as Joe moved out of the way and locked it in the Coquina clutch. Ali made it to the ropes, and Mysterio hit a 619 on Joe and then followed up with one on Ali as well. Orton would then run in and hit an RKO on Ali out of nowhere, but Mysterio broke up the pin with a huge springboard leg drop to the back of Randy's head. Finish then came when Mysterio hit a 619 on Orton, and Joe tried to powerbomb him, I guess through the rubble of what the table was. So the tables broke from AJ. Mysterio did the 619 on Orton. He's going to do the springboard, but Joe grabs him. I don't know where he was going to powerbomb him. Looked like on that broken table. And instead, Ray hits a Hurricane Rana on the outside. They're both knocked down. AJ all of a sudden out of nowhere comes flying off the ropes. Springboard 450 that barely connects. 1, 2, 3. AJ wins. He's going to the Rumble. Again, the same guy getting opportunities. Who was in the last 2 WWE title matches? AJ Styles. When they say there's supposed to be change and new guys getting opportunities, why wasn't this Mustafa Ali? Why wasn't this Samoa Joe? Hell, why wasn't this Rey Mysterio? With them stating new guys will get championship opportunities, I know this is a workaround for the no more automatic rematch clauses. Well, he earned it. I don't mind AJ versus Daniel Bryan. It's just when you say new guys are going to get opportunities. No, here's the thing. I'm thinking too much into this, actually. They want us to think this is a real fight. To think this is not booked backstage for who's going to win. They want us to think this is a real fight. And in a real fight, AJ could have won. AJ did win. So I get it in a way, but if you're the ones booking the match and you're telling us you're not going to give the same guys opportunities over opportunities, why is AJ even in the match in the first place? It shouldn't have been Joe versus Jeff Hardy. It should have been AJ versus somebody to earn his way in this match. Hell, they should have had qualifying matches all night, and then they had this 5-way next week. If you have to earn, I don't know. I'm thinking too much into that. But with that was Smackdown, and let's go to the phones. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on? Well, let me talk on that one really fast. Them facing the whole 6-woman tag on Raw this week, I didn't have too much of an issue with that because they didn't want to really do something new until they're live again. That's why I wish they would have waited to do the 5-way until next week's show when they're in Jacksonville and they're live again. That's when really all the new stuff is going to start.
I mean, yeah, I could see some stuff like that. And I kind of also wanted to, kind of vent on the fact of, AJ Styles, getting another WWE Championship match. What I feel like what should have happened is I feel like, nobody's watching Royal Rumble for, WWE Championship matches. They're watching it for the Royal Rumble.
Exactly.
I feel like they should have, put somebody like Mustafa Ali versus Daniel Bryan, and then Styles could have, win in the Royal Rumble, and he possibly could have, won the Rumble,
True.
Going against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania for the Universal Championship. And I feel like, moving AJ Styles to Raw would be, quite a good idea. Or they can go with Seth or Drew McIntyre for the Royal Rumble winners.
I wouldn't be opposed to any three of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, WWE, I just feel like they're not going to change because, honestly, Vince McMahon is still running the product, and he's stubborn, and he's not going to listen to the WWE fans.
I mean, honestly, you know what Vince's change is? He's on TV.
Okay.
Everything's going to be better.
That is true, yeah. Hello?
Lost them. I don't know what happened there. Lost the call. If anybody else does want to call in, number on the screen, 559-475-8473, 559-475-8473. Let's check the chat here. Neglected the chat while we were talking SmackDown. Ebenezer says, it's funny how Triple H says Seth can't face Dean, but AJ can face Brian. No. Triple H said that Seth had to prove himself before getting another shot at Dean. And he would have to, and he said, I want you to beat the almighty Bobby Lashley. Now, yes, he beat down the almighty Bobby Lashley, but he didn't beat him since he used the steel chair and got himself disqualified. So it's like, he wanted Seth to prove himself and earn another shot at the Intercontinental Championship. AJ proved himself and earned another shot at the WWE Championship. So that's where that's all coming from. If you really look into it. Bird Guy says Vince won't leave unless the XFL gets big. Oh, won't leave until the XFL gets big. Vince doesn't have to leave. He's got Oliver Luck in charge of the XFL doing everything. Vince just has to show up and be a face. Vince doesn't have to do anything behind the scenes for the XFL. He's got Oliver Luck, who is a very, very smart person when it comes to football. But AJ Moore says everything will be better when they got one booker, not 25 riders, and the E channel. E channel has nothing to do with anything. Mr. Jones is me says the curb stomp to Leo was nice. It was. Let's take another call. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hello?
How's it going?
Good.
You got a question or a comment?
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, what's up?
I don't know. You called. You have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. When is Finn Balor getting his push?
Honestly, I couldn't say. I wish it would have came already. I think he shouldn't get it unless they move him to SmackDown because no one believes that he's going to do anything well on Raw anymore. So move him to SmackDown and give him that push there. That's what I believe. This should happen.
Oh, that's really cool.
But I want to say thank you for the call and have a great night.
You too.
All right, let's take another call here. Calling on the air. What's going on?
Hey, Tim. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. What's going on?
I have a couple questions, and
Sure.
The first one is how, with Becky being so big and obviously having a good tag team match with John Cena, how long do you think she'll stay popular? I mean, I know different. Go ahead.
Go. You go.
I mean, yeah, I know different cities are going to give different vibes and different events and stuff.
Right.
But I mean, ETA. I mean, how long do you think? Not ETA. How long do you think that she'll?
I mean, sky's the limit. If I had to put a time limit on it, I say she could stay popular for most of 2019, depending on the booking. If they make her look weak at all, then the fans might be like, okay, this was cool, but they don't care anymore. I think if it just depends. If she wins the Royal Rumble, sky's the limit. She goes out there to WrestleMania against, she likes to say, Ronnie, and maybe even beats Rousey. I know they would want Rousey to go over because it'd give them more, like I said last night, they would want Rousey to go over, especially if it's the main event, to get more mainstream publicity. But if you want to do what's right for your company as far as your fans and booking and ratings and getting people invested in wanting to see your show, you put Becky over at WrestleMania. And she can stay hot for the rest of the year if that happens. Because then, if she goes over the Golden Goose Ronda Rousey, then the fans are going to be like, wow, they believe in Becky Lynch. Let's see what else they're going to do with her. I think that's going to be your big thing. If she loses, if she gets the match at WrestleMania against Ronda Rousey, which is the plan as of last week, or actually last weekend, if she gets that match, then the big tell of how long she can go as a top star, not just a top female star, but a top star, is if they allow her to beat Ronda Rousey or not. If they don't, then it's more like, oh, she was just, yeah, they like her, but she ain't their cup of tea. It's still Ronda. But if they allow her to beat Ronda, then that proves to everybody watching, us fans, us everybody, hey, they believe in Becky more than we thought.
Just a follow question. This might be stupid. So that means she wins the Rumble and she'll declare to Raw, and she'll go to Raw, at least for that time being.
True. Yeah. I guess she would have to. Yeah.
Yeah. And the second thing is about SmackDown. I'll say SmackDown's a lot better than Raw. It's just way more entertaining.
Most weeks,
and
yeah.
Stuff. And you got good feuds going on. I just don't like the fact that Asuka isn't like wrestling and there was no tag team title mentioned tonight. I just don't like that when it comes to SmackDown.
But here's the thing. SmackDown's only a 2-hour show. You can't cram everything into it. You have to be able to give certain things their allotment of time. You can't rush. Like, yeah, the Naomi Mandy Rose thing was short, but it didn't need to be any longer than it was. But you didn't want to make that shorter than it was, or then that really would have just been a whatever segment that no one's going to get behind. But because it's something different, they gave it enough time to where people were like, wait, why are they doing this? This isn't something they would normally book. And so some people are actually kind of interested in it. If you would have just rushed it, then you would have been like, oh, yeah, they just wanted to do something different this week. Who cares about that? So it's like with NXT. Sometime you got the NXT champion Ciampa not even on the show some weeks. Same thing with like the tag team champions. You don't need to have everybody on the show every single week wrestling or in a backstage segment. And like we saw tonight with Asuka, she at least was still on the show in a backstage segment. So you remember, hey, there's your women's champion.
Yeah. All right, well, thanks for the call.
All right, thanks, and have a great night. My whole thing, it's like what they do with NXT. You don't need to oversaturate it. You don't have to have the same guys wrestling every week. We see it with AJ. Some weeks, AJ doesn't wrestle for 2-3 weeks in a row. Excuse me. You don't have to have the same guys on every week, because then you might just be like, okay, yep, he's having a match with this guy again. Either you're going to get repeat matches, or you're going to start getting into this pattern where, okay, AJ's wrestling every week. But if you really break down the match, it's a quote-unquote AJ Styles type match where he does X, Y, Z. His opponent does A, B, C. No matter who the opponent is, they do the same kind of stuff. So it's like, you don't have to have every single person wrestle every single week, especially on SmackDown where you have the one less hour than Raw. So I like not having everybody on every week. You sometimes can have, like, Becky wrestled this week. Just have her do a promo next week. She doesn't have to wrestle next week. She can do something quick, but it's not needed. So let's take another call. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, hi.
How's it going?
Good. Can I ask a question?
Go for it.
Who do you think is going to have the best 2019?
In WWE or overall in all pro wrestling?
Overall.
That's a tough one. If I had to look in all of pro wrestling, who can have the best 2019? Are you talking like career-wise or just like best matches?
Or you can just pick 5. You don't know one.
Well, here's the thing. I think Cody is going to have a really good year this year because he's taking on a new role as a vice president of AEW and executive producer of television and live events for that company. I think he is going to have a great breakout year as far as not just a wrestler, but as somebody within wrestling that is going to be widely respected by many. He's basically turning into his father. He's basically turning into Dusty when Dusty took over as booker for NWA and whatnot, and Crockett. So I think him, by far, could have one of the best years of anybody career-wise.
Hey, can I ask you something?
Okay.
Do you know who WrestleTalk is?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
And
I don't know. Okay. Who do you think AEW is gonna compete with WWE?
Not at first, no. Maybe after a year, once they're established. It all depends. They have, being reported, they have multiple television offers. We don't know who those are from. So depending on who they are and who they sign with is going to determine whether they can or cannot, not defeat, but compete with the WWE.
I really, 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 really follow your news.
Well, I appreciate that.
Like, you don't have an idea. Like, I honestly look up. I think you're like the only news channel that I look up to in WWE.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, and I want to say thank you for the call and have a great night.
But okay, thanks.
Move on to another call here. Seen this number on hold for a while. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey man, what's up?
What's going on? How you doing?
I have 3 questions.
Go for it.
Well, one, I want to talk about I got a prediction for Charlotte Flair.
Okay.
I got a prediction for Charlotte Flair. It goes a little something like this. You still there?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Let's say that Charlotte Flair wins the women's Money in the Bank contract, and like 2 days later, or like let's say, hey, Asuka's like still champion, and then she defends the belt against someone like Nia Jax, and then like some way like I don't know if like Tamina's gonna be on SmackDown or something. Let's say that Tamina helps Nia win the title. So Asuka's mad, and then she just starts wailing out on both of them. The crowd loves it, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Charlotte Flair cashes in her contract. Boom, 1, 2, 3. She's a new champion.
Basically, what happened to Charlotte last year. I mean, she got beat down by the Iconic duo, or now the Iconics, and Carmella came down and took advantage. Kind of basically the same thing.
Or, let's just see. This is how the second version will go. 2 days after Money in the Bank, Asuka defends her title against Nia in like a TLC match or something.
They wouldn't do a TLC match that close to right after Money in the Bank. After having 2 ladder matches?
Like 2 days after Money, like the SmackDown after Money in the Bank.
But what would cause the need of a TLC match, especially with Asuka and Nia?
I don't know. Have Nia win a match over her, and then she like picks the stipulation.
That's just too much WWE 2K19 Universe Mode fantasy booking for me, to be honest. Not trying to be rude or anything.
Well, how about this? Nia beats Asuka in like a last woman standing match or a no disqualification match.
Okay.
And then Asuka like wore out her legs her legs are like busted. She could barely walk on spaghetti legs, and she's like bleeding from the nose or something. And then Charlotte's music hits. She gets a massive pop. She runs through the crowd, and then boom, she pulls the Dean Ambrose and cashes in, and then she connects with the spear, or takes out her legs, and then try to go for the heel hook. And then when Tamina tries to do a super kick when the ref's not looking, and Tamina gives Nia a super kick by mistake, and then Charlotte capitalizes with a spear, pins her 1, 2, 3. Boom, she's a new champion.
I mean, anything could happen. I want to say thank you for the call and have a great night.
Wait, Tim, I only have 3 more things to get on. That's it.
We gotta go. We have too many people calling. We can't go for 4, 5, 6 minutes on one caller. Sorry.
On Tim, one more thing.
Had to do it. Going long was kind of. I don't want to be rude, but I mean, we're not here to fantasy book. We're here to ask questions and talk about the current product of what's going on now. Things within WWE are not in WWE. I'm not trying to be rude or anything. It's just other people want to call in, and we're only going a certain amount of time tonight. So take another call. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hello? Hey, what do you think WWE is going to do with R-Truth being the number 30 spot?
Honestly, I think it would be funny if he accidentally tries to come out in the Women's Rumble as number 30. And then Carmella goes, hey, whoa, what are you doing? This is the Women's Rumble. I'm number 30. I think that's what they should do, since they do the whole, he confuses things up so much.
And one more thing. What about Lawrence Sullivan? Do you think they're going to screw him like they did Braun Strowman at Crown Jewel?
I don't think Strowman was screwed. Strowman became a huge star on the main roster. And they want to push Sullivan similar to what they've done with Braun, making him just not seem 100% unbeatable, but damn near close.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you for the call, and have a great night.
You too.
And we was going to take another call, but the call dropped off right as we went to answer it. If anybody else does want to call in, 559-475-8473. Let's check out what the chat is talking about here. Bird Gotti says it would have been a good way to end the streak. Oh, you're talking about Carmella cashing in on Asuka. That would have been, because you could have done the whole, well, Asuka only lost because she was snuck up on. Asuka didn't really lose. Her streak wasn't really ended. So, I mean, you could have. Let's take this call right here. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Tim?
How's it going?
Doing all right. Well, listen, I have a question for you. It's about tonight's show.
Sure.
Well, first of all, the whole AJ Styles thing and Vince McMahon. I was wondering, you were talking about on the last, I think your breaking news that you were mentioning on your channel. I don't know if he's going to turn heel. That's my question. I don't know if he's going to go heel, or is that just a way to motivate AJ Styles?
See, initially when I heard the spoilers, I assumed it could have been a heel turn. Then when we saw it, well, actually this wasn't in the spoiler, but when we saw it last week on SmackDown, it seemed like a heel turn. But the way they played it off tonight, I think you're right. It's more of a motivation thing. It's more of a, let's see if we can bring out the fire in AJ Styles as far as Vince McMahon. So I don't think it's going to be a heel turn. Initially I did, because the way he just laid out Vince and then stood over Vince, which was kind of a heel thing to do, the way he was standing over him. But then the way they played it off tonight was, like you said, more of like I want to motivate you. You've got complacent because you were the champ for so long and you felt like you were unbeatable. And then when you got beat, maybe you need to reevaluate the way you've been doing things. So I think that's the way it could go, and I think you're right there.
Well, and that's and another thing, and this is another opinion I want from you as well. The whole thing with the Miz and Shane, do you think Miz is going to turn face?
I think Miz already did turn face, to be honest.
Okay, I was just wondering because I mean you can't tell with him anymore.
True.
It seems like he's either it's kind of like he's a tweener pretty much.
Right.
And you just don't know if he's a face one moment or if he's a heel the next.
Here's a question for you. Did you watch any episodes of Ms. and Mrs.?
Yes, I have.
I feel like coming off of that show, Miz needs to be a babyface right now because on Ms. and Mrs., he comes off like just a guy that's cool, that is just like a normal guy. Here's the thing. On Ms. and Mrs., he's just like you and me. Just a little wacky. A little more wackier than the normal person. And then he ramps that up on WWE television. So coming off of Ms. and Mrs., it's like you can't not like the guy. You can't just say, hey, that's a cool guy that I'd hang out with. So for him to now be a babyface on the main roster kind of ties that all together. So now people may say, well, I don't watch Ms. and Mrs., so I don't see that. I only see the heel Miz on TV. I think they'll start incorporating that more. My opinion from seeing that.
Well, yeah, I mean, you get to see the real life Mike Mazan.
Exactly.
And you're like, well, this is not him being a character. This is him being himself and not, screwing people around. And they
always, sorry to cut you off, but they always say, in wrestling, you should try to be yourself, but crank it up about 50%, maybe 100%. Double your normal personality. Whether you're like Randy Orton, a dick in real life, be more of a dick on TV. Miz, he's a wacky person in real life, but kind of like just an everyday guy. So he just ramps that up, and he just puts a little cockiness to it.
Exactly. Well, to be honest with you, Tim, I'm an independent wrestler myself.
Okay.
And so, I get what you're talking about here. And a lot of people are just like, like for me, I have to be my character, but then yet I have to be the other part of me. It's pretty much being split personality.
Right. I can see that.
But that's those were the only two questions I had for you because I was kind of confused on both of them. I was like, okay, I need to ask him see what's his thoughts now. Since we're a little bit more since we're in towards the Royal Rumble.
Right.
So, but hey, Happy New Year and thank you so much, Tim.
Not a problem. Happy New Year's and thanks for the call.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
I saw here in the chat. Where was it? I want to find this. Joshua Lowe says, is this leading to Miz versus Shane at Mania? Honestly, if they keep this quote-unquote tag team thing together and they pick up some wins over the next couple of months, I can see it being Miz and Shane winning the tag team titles at WrestleMania, to be honest. AJ Moore says, there you go. Another example of them trying to tie it all to the reality TV. I like Miz as a heel. They need to keep them separate. Miz has come across as a Damian Sandow now, which isn't bad, but no, I don't think he's like Sandow. I mean, I don't like the obsession with Shane McMahon, no. But I think, like I said, once you watch him on Miz and Mrs., you just find out he's just a guy. Even if you watch him on social media, he's just a guy. Guy that likes to hang out with his friends, likes to go watch football. Trust me, check out his social media on a Sunday. He's like the biggest noob when it comes to Cleveland Browns football. Like, it's just cool because you just realize he's just one of us. He's not the quote-unquote A-lister who thinks he's better than everybody. He may a little bit think he's better than everybody because, hey, he's got this great life and money and cars and a hot wife, but in the end, he's not much different than the normal dude. Let's take another call. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, Tim. I have a question for you, but
okay.
Why is WWE trying to make this thing between Main Rose and Naomi a 1999 where Mandy Rose was acting like Trish Stratus?
Now, I don't think she's acting like Trish, but I get exactly what you're saying. This is like some Attitude Era woman's storyline just with 2000. Like I said the other day, this is Attitude Era 1999 woman's storyline with 2018 technology. Because back in the day, they wouldn't have said, I texted your husband a picture. They literally would have said, I tried to get into his locker room dressed like this. And I don't know why they're going back to that. I know Vince really feels like Mandy Rose has the look and the in-ring ability to be maybe not the top female star, but a top 5 top female star. And so he wants to start pushing her bigger than she has so far. Yeah, and it looks like we lost the calls. Looking at the chat. I saw Trey said, The Miz on Up, Up, Down, Down is a lovable guy too and fun. Exactly. That's Mike Mizanin. When he's on Miz and Mrs., when he's on Up, Up, Down, Down, that's just him being him. He's not trying to play, quote unquote, The Miz. He's just being himself, and I love it. Bird Guy says, who remembers when Miz's dad had him sign like 20 autographs in a bar? That was pretty funny, yeah. Bird Guy says, it's all about her looks. Yep, it's all about her looks. Let's take this call here. Caller on the air, what's going on?
Hey, Tim, what's up?
How's it going?
Doing all right. Hopefully you had a good New Year's.
Did. How about you?
It was all right. Just basically born and basically got to go watch the Rose Bowl game. So it was
Nice.
yeah. So I'm not sure. Like, sorry, I got a couple questions. Sorry,
Go for it.
They're like prepared. My bad. But so the first thing we're talking about is Kenny Omega. I've been hearing some stuff about him having a meeting with Triple H and stuff. You know.
I have not heard anything about that. I don't know where you would have heard that. And legally, he can't meet with Triple H one-on-one.
Well, yeah, I don't know. There's some rumors going around.
Yeah, I can tell you right now that legally he's still under contract with New Japan till at least the end of January. So if he would have had any kind of meeting with Triple H, basically breach contract.
Right.
WWE would have been in trouble for contract tampering if New Japan would have wanted to take legal action. They can send out feelers and like have a third party say, "Hey, we're interested. Here's a kind of what we would offer," but they can't make any formal offers or have any formal kinds of talks with Omega at all, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how like contract stuff goes because it's kind of weird because you can't talk to this one come until all that stuff. So
basically, how most wrestling contracts are, you're signed to a company, you can't talk to any other companies until your contract is officially over with. Say you're the Young Bucks.
Right.
Here's a good example: Young Bucks. Their contracts expired yesterday with Ring of Honor. As of last night, they still had not signed an AEW contract, because they were not allowed to be given contracts or even given contract terms, anything, until after yesterday when their contracts expired. So that's the whole thing.
Right.
People can say, hey, we're interested in you. We're kind of interested in this kind of a deal, but they can't give any kind of terms on, here's exactly what we want, here's exactly what you'll get, will you sign? You just got to kind of play around kind of like a, I don't know what the word I would use here. It's kind of like they kind of tiptoe around it and say, hey, we're interested, but that's really all we can say is we're interested.
Right.
Until the contract's up. Unlike with, say, the WWE TV deal. As we saw with Fox, the deal with USA was not up when they signed with Fox. But because in television deals, you're given what is called an exclusive negotiation window. That exclusive window said from the time you sign your contract with, say, USA until 1 year or a year and a half before the contract's up, you can't talk to any other TV companies. But once there's only 12 months to 18 months left, we'll allow you to talk to other companies. So that's kind of how
I just
different
realized,
contracts work.
right. Yeah, I think I just realized I read something that's probably not really truthworthy. I looked at Sportskeeda. That's probably why.
Oh, yeah.
My bad.
Sorry to go
I
on a
was
rant
just-
about contracts there.
Oh, you're good, man. I probably shouldn't have asked that question. So
Oh, you're good.
My apologies for that.
It's all fine.
But yeah, so I watched SmackDown tonight. It was actually a pretty decent show. Just the one thing I just did not like was AJ Styles winning that match.
I didn't either, to be honest.
No, I did not. I don't really want to see another Styles Daniel Bryan match because I'm not sure what the plan is going in WrestleMania with Bryan because I'm not sure who's. I'm assuming he's going to be holding that title till Mania. I'm assuming.
I would assume as well.
Yeah. I also tell you I got tickets for a SmackDown show. I think I texted you earlier about that.
Right.
Yeah, so, but, I'm really hoping, this new year for WWE hopefully will be better because I really thought last year was kind of like one of its worst years, to be honest with you.
I don't know if it was one of its worst.
Not the worst years, but it wasn't like just
2011 through 2013 was not that good.
True. But I just saw some people just weren't really happy with the product, especially Monday Night Raw, basically. So I'm just hoping this year we'll hopefully see a better, recorded fresh start. So
Right. I mean, they're gonna need to do something to keep the fans interested. With ROH is gonna start stepping up their game. I mean, they got into Madison Square Garden. Who knows how big AEW can be? MLW starting to get a pretty good fan base with their show, so they got to step it up if they want to keep their weekly viewers.
Yeah, they're in a tough spot right now, so they're
and not even to mention New Japan. They're running multiple times in the States next year.
Yeah. That's pretty much all I had to say, man. Hopefully you have a great New Year's.
You too.
Hopefully I'll talk to you again soon.
All right, thanks for the call and have a great night.
No problem.
Oh, I saw something in the chat. So, Joshua Lowe said, I'm pretty sure Heyman worked with Lars a bit at the PC. I believe so. I know he was there a couple times over the summer or early fall doing promo classes. Then I saw another comment here in the chat. It said, Bird Gotti says, I don't have the network. Is Lars a good talker? Yes and no. Lars sounds very intelligent when he talks, which is a good thing and a bad thing, because his character should not be sounding overly intelligent. He's a smart guy. I'll give him that. I've heard he's a really intelligent guy, but his character should not be using big, sophisticated words. Honestly, he should have a mouthpiece. He should just be the guy that goes out there and says, I'm going to beat you up. Kind of like Braun, but even less, in my opinion. Bird Gotti says, hey, will you review Wrestle Kingdom? Yes, but I don't know when. Sometime Friday, either right after the show or that night. All depends on when the show ends, because my kids are still on vacation. They wake up roughly around 7 a.m. So if the show ends at about 6, I can't go live. We're talking Pacific time. If the show ends at about 6, I probably won't be able to go live right after, because they won't give me enough time to make sure that we're live long enough to cover the whole thing. So depending on when Wrestle Kingdom ends on Friday night or Thursday morning, Friday morning, whatever you want to call it, Thursday night, will depict on when we're going to go live. And I'll know basically right after. And I'll put it on Twitter, in the community tab, all the other deals. I'll say, hey, we'll go live either right now or we'll go live tonight. And I will let you guys know. But there will be a Wrestle Kingdom review sometime on Friday. Either Friday night or right after the show. It's like one final call. Calling on the air, what's going on?
Hey, Tim.
How's it going?
I was just watching SmackDown tonight. I haven't been on in a minute, but I was just curious. I don't know if this question's been asked, but the NXT that was the NXT superstars that are making the jump to the NXT roster, which one are you most excited to see?
It's a good question. Who am I most excited to see? Probably a tie between EC3 and Lars Sullivan, but for different reasons. I want to see how they use Lars Sullivan. From everything we've heard, they're going to use him similar to Braun, where he's just going to be this monster that comes out there and just destroys people. So I want to see how similar to Braun Strowman is that. How are they going to make him seem different than Braun Strowman is the big question. And with EC3, I just want to see if they put a ceiling on him, like they did with Bobby Lashley. Because EC3 can easily be a guy that's at a Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose level, if not right under them. But if they stifle him, like they have with guys like Neville, guys like Bobby Roode, guys like Finn Balor, then that'll be horrible. But I feel like he could be one of those guys that slip through the cracks and prove to the McMahons, I guess you can say, that he deserves a spot. Not just, oh, we needed to call some NXT guys up, here's a guy. So those two are the two that I'm most excited to see how they get used. The others, I like Heavy Machinery, they'll probably fall through the cracks. Lacey Evans, she'll probably fall through the cracks. Nikki Cross may do well at first because she's got a good fan base behind her. But really, other than that, it's just those two that I'm excited for and interested in.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited to see about EC3 because his package makes the video package they produce for him. It seemed like they're trying to take him a little bit more serious and give him a fair shake than the last time, because I know he went through the WWE machine and then that didn't work out for him. Maybe now it's
he's done
more.
He did the same thing McIntyre did. He had to leave, prove himself outside of the WWE for WWE to go, whoa, we shouldn't have let this guy go. We should have let him grow here instead. Re-sign him. Same thing that happened to McIntyre, and look where McIntyre's at now.
Yeah, he's getting ready for a big push, it looks like. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I was also excited to see that Proper girl. Of course, I don't watch NXT, so I'm not sure, but the Proper girl opposite of Nikki Cross, it seems like a pretty cool gimmick. I'd probably, I think maybe it could be successful depending on if, crowds get into that kind of gimmick, but
right,
could be all right. But yeah, man, thanks for taking my call.
Not a problem. Thanks for the call.
Appreciate it.
Have a great night.
All right.
Excuse me. What happened to the Big Show? Who knows? Legend Gamer's asking, who happened to the Big Show? Who knows? Big Show did not look good when he came back. He was slow. He was having trouble just getting up from when he was like trying to pin somebody and then he could barely get up. I think he's done. I think he needs to be done. Put him in a producer role. Put him in a Legends contract or something. And I just don't think he needs to be wrestling anymore. Legend Gamer says, Tim, have you realized that the crowd had been fake for the past 2 weeks? Are you talking about they made the crowd seem more excited about things? Because that's true. Because I had a friend that went to the Fresno show that was actually the Christmas Day show. He said there was a couple segments where the crowd was just meh, but then when he rewatched it on TV, they were super into the show when they really weren't at that time when they were taping. So, yes, they did sweeten the crowd and make the crowd seem more excited than they actually were at the tapings. And that's something you can do on a tape show. Or you've seen them do it at NXT before. But Mark Brown says Lars Sullivan went a long time before losing to Aleister Black. Very true. Gabriel says Lars Sullivan will cost Braun the Universal Championship at the Rumble. You think? I don't know. I don't want to see Lars and Strowman feud right away. Honestly, I think you should put Lars, if you're going to try and, if Lars is going to get the Strowman comparison, so you need to put him on SmackDown. They need to be opposite. Colby Duran. I didn't see your other comment, bud. Oh, here you go. I called last week. Tamatonga said you and Owens are on a mission and to keep it secret, but I think Owens will cost Cody the IWGP U.S. titles of the Bullet Club has a U.S. champ. That makes no sense. If Owens costs Cody the title, then Juice wins the title. Juice is not in Bullet Club. So your theory there, in actuality, can work, but not in the way you're thinking. Yes, he can screw Cody, but it wouldn't put the U.S. title in Bullet Club. Just saying. But with that, I want to say thank you for joining us here tonight on the Smackdown Live review. We will be live again tomorrow on the PW Unlimited Wednesday show. Live every Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday. Tomorrow we'll take more calls, talk about everything going on this week with AEW, WWE's new fresh start and where they could be going next, and just everything else in the world of pro wrestling. And as well, it's Wednesday, so we'll take even more calls. Have a good night. You can follow us right here on YouTube, Pro Wrestling Unlimited, Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD, on Twitter at PWUnlimited, on Instagram at Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and hopefully, either tomorrow or the next day, our website will be back up and running. Finally got everything situated. Hopefully, I'm going to work on it all night tonight, work on it tomorrow, and we'll let you guys know if it's back up. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow.